The lightsaber. This iconic weapon of the Jedi and Sith holds more secrets than most fans realize. From ancient proto-sabers to the mysterious dark saber, these weapons aren't just glowing swords, they're extensions of their wielders, powered by rare kyber crystals that connect to their users through the Force. Today, we're breaking down every single lightsaber type in Star Wars canon, so let's get right into it. The standard battle saber. When most people think of lightsabers, they picture the classic single-bladed weapon used by Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and most Jedi we see in the films. But there's actually a reason why so many Jedi carried similar-looking weapons during the Republic era. These standard lightsabers are officially called battle sabers, designed for quick construction in times of crisis. This design was established by Huyang, a droid created 25,000 years ago to help Jedi build their lightsabers. Battle sabers required minimal effort to construct, meaning their loss in battle wouldn't be so devastating. Even within this standard design, there's room for customization. Some hilts are bent to improve grip during duels. Others have, different nozzles that change the blade shape slightly, and every lightsaber eventually becomes a reflection of its user, which explains the wide variety of colors we see. Double-bladed lightsabers. When Darth Maul ignited both ends of his lightsaber in The Phantom Menace, Star Wars fans lost their minds. This Sith weapon features an extra-long hilt containing multiple kyber crystals that project deadly energy blades from both ends. Maul discovered how to make his double-bladed lightsaber by studying ancient Sith records. While intimidating, this design has a critical weakness. It can be cut in half at the middle, as Obi-Wan demonstrated in their final duel in Rebels. This vulnerability might explain why even the Sith eventually abandoned this design in ancient times, despite its visual intimidation factor. The switchblade lightsaber. Taking the double-bladed lightsaber concept further, the switchblade design allows its two blades to fold up side by side or switch down into the traditional double-bladed configuration. We first saw this weapon in the Clone Wars, used by the treacherous Jedi Master Pong Krell. It later appeared in live action when Rey had a vision of her dark self wielding a red switchblade saber in The Rise of Skywalker. The brief scene showed how effectively this weapon could trap an opponent's lightsaber between its blades, potentially disarming them with a twist. Dual-phase lightsaber. Darth Vader didn't just look intimidating, his lightsaber packed a secret punch. He wielded a dual-phase lightsaber containing two kyber crystals. With a flick of a switch, Vader could rotate these crystals to instantly change his blade length. This trick gave him a massive advantage in combat, allowing him to surprise opponents with unexpected reach, but using a dual-phase saber wasn't without risk. The moment when the crystals rotated left the user briefly vulnerable, as the lightsaber would deactivate for a split second. Only a true master like Vader could effectively use this ancient and dangerous weapon type. Crossguard lightsabers. Kylo Ren's crackling, unstable crossguard lightsaber wasn't a new invention, but a revival of an ancient design. These weapons incorporate three blade emitters, the main blade and two smaller vents that form the crossguard. During the High Republic era, when the Jedi were at their peak, crossguard lightsabers were actually quite popular. Stellan Gios wielded a refined version with physical quillons to direct the energy streams at the sides. These quillons would point forward toward the emitter when not in use, allowing the weapon to rest in a specially designed holster. In the game, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the crossguard stance represents a power-based combat style, using heavy, crushing blows to break through opponents' defenses. The Darksaber, perhaps the most visually distinctive lightsaber in canon, is the Darksaber, a weapon with a flat black energy blade that shimmers with white edges. Created 1,000 years ago by Tara Vizsla, the first Mandalorian to join the Jedi Order. This unique weapon became a symbol of leadership for the Mandalorian people. Unlike other lightsabers, the Darksaber's weight and efficiency in combat depend largely on the user's mental and emotional state. It can be properly wielded through sheer willpower, even without Force sensitivity, which explains how non-Jedi like Pre Vizsla and Moff Gideon could use it effectively. As of the end of The Mandalorian Season 3, the Darksaber was destroyed, raising questions about whether it might be reforged in future Star Wars stories. The Inquisitor's lightsabers. The Imperial Inquisitors, former Jedi who hunted Force sensitives for the Empire, carried perhaps the most bizarre lightsabers in the galaxy. Their double-bladed weapons could actually spin like helicopters, providing tactical advantages in duels and in intimidating their prey. The eighth brother's saber went even further, incorporating additional buzzsaw teeth for extra combat effectiveness and fear factor. While impressive, these spinning sabers had significant vulnerabilities that skilled opponents like Ahsoka Tano could exploit. The training lightsaber. Remember those younglings training with Yoda in Attack of the Clones? They weren't wielding full power lightsabers. Training sabers are specially designed with shorter blades to fit young hands and lower energy output to prevent serious injuries. But don't think they're harmless. A solid hit will still deliver a shock that temporarily numbs muscles. Training sabers have been around for centuries, with Yoda himself keeping his first training lightsaber from when he was a youngling. Even Luke Skywalker apparently learned to construct them for his Jedi temple on Ossus. Interestingly, the Acolyte revealed that Padawans sometimes train with metal rods instead of training lightsabers. These are useful for practicing complex moves where a shock from a training saber might disrupt the learning process. The proto-saber. Long before the refined lightsabers we know today, there were proto-sabers. These ancient weapons featured exposed kyber crystals mounted on ignition rings with corkscrew prongs twisting around the base of the blue energy blade. The name proto-saber suggests these were among the first lightsabers ever made, possibly predating the Jedi Order itself. Some sources hint that the first Jedi adapted their fighting techniques from existing swordplay used by Force users who wielded these early lightsaber designs. The upcoming Jedi Origin movie, directed by James Mangold, might finally reveal the true history of these fascinating weapons. Shoto blades. Ahsoka Tano's iconic fighting style uses two lightsabers, with her offhand wielding a shorter blade known as a shoto. These compact lightsabers are typically used by more aggressive Jedi warriors. Dave Filoni, who created Ahsoka's character, intended this design choice to show Anakin's influence on her fighting style. A variation called the Guard Shoto features an additional hilt set at a 90-degree angle, helping Jedi transition smoothly between attack and defense. Some sources suggest shoto blades were originally developed to counter light whips, which brings us to another rare lightsaber type we'll cover shortly. Lightsaber pikes. Temple guards of the Jedi Temple on Coruscant wielded distinctive yellow-bladed lightsaber pikes. These staff-like weapons featured lightsaber blades mounted on long handles, allowing for greater reach and leverage in combat. The yellow color wasn't random. It symbolized the eternal flame of the Jedi Order and the vigilance of its protectors. Both single and double-bladed variants existed, with Luke Skywalker discovering an ancient single-bladed pike in the comics. The Great Lightsaber. For larger beings with powerful frames, the standard lightsaber just doesn't cut it. Enter the Great Lightsaber, an oversized weapon with a heavier hilt and more powerful blade. Strikes from these massive lightsabers carry much more kinetic force than standard models. Baylan Skoll from the Ahsoka series appears to wield a great lightsaber, with the ancient droid Huyang claiming it's the only one he's seen in 500 years. This rarity makes sense given the specialized nature of these weapons. The light foil. On the opposite end of the spectrum from great lightsabers are light foils, smaller, slimmer blades designed specifically for dueling. These rapier-like weapons excel in swift combat situations where precision matters more than raw power. The first light foils were reportedly created by the Sith approximately 5,000 years ago. Shin from the Ahsoka series may wield one of these rare weapons, though this hasn't been explicitly confirmed. Lightsaber whip. One of the most unusual lightsaber variants is the lightsaber whip, or light whip. These weapons generate a weaker, more malleable magnetic field that allows the energy to be used like a flexible whip rather than a rigid blade. While each section of the whip is less damaging than a standard lightsaber blade, the extended reach and unpredictable nature make light whips extremely dangerous. They're typically associated with the dark side, though young Jedi Knight Vernestra Rwoh created one that could transform between a standard lightsaber and a light whip. After being introduced in the book A Test of Courage, the lightsaber whip made its live-action debut in The Acolyte, wielded by Vernestra Rwoh herself. The Stranger's Trick lightsaber. The Acolyte introduced a cleverly deceptive Sith weapon, a lightsaber with an extended hilt containing a secret detachable second hilt. This smaller section effectively forms a light dagger rather than a traditional lightsaber. This trick perfectly suits the Sith reputation for deception, allowing the wielder to surprise opponents with an unexpected second blade. It's one of the most cunning lightsaber designs ever seen in Star Wars. Ezra's blaster lightsaber hybrid. In Star Wars Rebels, Ezra Bridger constructed a truly truly unique weapon, a lightsaber built into his blaster. Powered by a blue kyber crystal, this hybrid allowed Ezra to switch between ranged blaster shots and close quarters lightsaber combat. This design reflected Ezra's initial doubt in his Jedi abilities, giving him a fallback option when lightsaber skills weren't enough. After Darth Vader destroyed this hybrid weapon, Ezra replaced it with a standard green-bladed lightsaber, showing his growth and confidence as a Jedi. Kanan Jarrus' collapsible lightsaber, Ezra's master, Kanan Jarrus, also used an unconventional lightsaber design. His weapon could split into two parts for concealment. He wore the main body and grip on his back, with the top portion that produced the blade on his left side. To assemble his lightsaber, Kanan simply needed to snap the parts together and twist. This design was perfectly suited for the dark times of the Empire's reign, allowing him to hide his Jedi identity until the moment he needed to reveal himself. The Lightspear. While never fully shown on screen, Star Wars lore mentions an ancient Sith weapon called the Lightspear. First referenced in Charles Soule's Light of the Jedi, very little is known about this mysterious lightsaber variant. The name suggests a longer reach than standard lightsabers, possibly similar to lightsaber pikes, but with design elements unique to Sith weaponry. Hopefully future Star Wars content will reveal more about these enigmatic weapons. Sickle-bladed lightsaber. Among the rarest lightsaber types is the sickle-bladed lightsaber, a Sith weapon with a curved blade. It's only been seen once, used by an ancient Sith lord named Darth Noctis. Emperor Palpatine eventually gave Darth Noctis's blade to one of the acolytes of the Beyond to duel Luke Skywalker, as described in Adam Christopher's novel Shadow of the Sith. Lightsaber canes. Finally, we have lightsaber canes, a clever concealment method rather than a distinct blade type. Older Jedi who survived Order 66 often hid their lightsabers by integrating the hilts into walking canes. This technique was apparently common among elderly Jedi long before the Empire, but became crucial for those hiding from Inquisitors. The awkward size and inconsistent weight distribution made these weapons less effective in heated combat, but the element of surprise often compensated for this disadvantage. That covers every lightsaber type in the Star Wars canon. Lightsabers are more than weapons. They're extensions of their users, connecting them to thousands of years of Force tradition. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out more related content shown on screen.